attend. So, as most of you know, I am Miranda Williamson, the Director of Search at Watson Institute. I have met most of you and spoken to most of you on multiple occasions. I'm so excited to welcome you all here today. What we have on our agenda is a packed hour. We're going to first celebrate you. You are all here because we selected you out of a pool of very qualified applicants as Enlight China Scholars for spring 2022. Then we're going to go ahead and do some introductions of our team. We're going to go over what to expect in the first week of the program in detail. Then Jorge, our Director of Programs here, is going to share what to expect during the program. Major milestones and checkpoints will be included in that conversation. Then we'll have plenty of time for questions. The questions can be directed at anyone in our team, but we are specifically joined by two alumni. One is our alumni and someone who is very integral to Watson and representing Watson in China, that's Lawless. And then we are also joined by Yidi, who is a recent alumni of the virtual program, so can answer specific questions. I do have some questions to kick us off, but I will encourage you all to either chat them in or unmute yourselves and ask those questions. But first, I really want to celebrate you all. Congratulations on being part of this prestigious group. You were all selected out of a pool of qualified candidates, as I said. I would love to hand it over to Lawless to share a bit about what it means to be an Enlight China Scholar and what it means to be recognized amongst this group.
Hi guys, thank you Miranda, thank you everyone, and I'm really excited to see finally, your faces. I think many of you, I have your WeChat, we probably chatted, but it's actually my first time to see your face in a very long time. So thank you again. And I myself was an Enlight China Fellow back in 2017, and I think that's definitely so far one of the most transformative experience I've ever had in my not so long life. And I would say, being an Enlight Fellow definitely, changed me. And, as you can see, my including my career path and, many things that I've done after that short for a month, in Watson. So definitely congratulations to be, part of this big family, and also, the Watson family as well. But specifically Enlight China Fellowship is Enlight China Scholarship, is funded by Enlight Foundation in California by one of the, very generous and very low-key but high-profile family, Chinese American. I won't tell you who they are right now, but in the future, maybe gradually you'll figure it out. And in China, they also have a whole network of, they also have a different, local foundation in China as well. That's why we have a lot of, partnerships going on here, a huge network in the Chinese nonprofit sector as well, including, social enterprises. So welcome you all again into, embarking this super exciting journey. And I can't wait to share this all along with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lawless, for sharing a bit of information about the Enlight Foundation and about your journey. We'll have plenty of time to ask Lawless more questions later on in our session today about her journey and very specific details. So without further ado, though, I would like to introduce our team. I'll pass it off for them to introduce themselves because you're going to get to know them very well during the next 15 weeks. So first, Jorge, I would love for you to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everybody. Good to see you all. Wonderful faces and smiles. My name is Jorge Mendez. You can also call me George. It's the English equivalent of my name. And I'm the Director of Programs for the Watson Semester Accelerator. We're all very, very excited to be welcoming you two. And I've been with Watson for, I'm getting close to 5 years, 4.5 or so. And I actually got to meet Lala's when she was a Watson Scholar in 2017, which actually was my first full cohort that I got to be a part of. And what else? Yeah, so I am responsible for, at this time, responsible for the mentorship program or aspect of the program, recruiting our master course teachers, which we'll get into a little more detail in just a little bit about what that means. And also many other elements of the programmatic experience. You're going to be seeing me and hearing from me and connecting with me every single week. You're gonna get tired of me sometimes from all my emails and WeChat messages, but yeah, that's an overview what I do, and I do this hand in hand with our programs team, our executive director, who you're going to meet in January, but also Audrey Miller, who's here with us as well, and she has been our operations coordinator for over a year, and now is going into a programs coordinator role. So Audrey and I are going to be program managers, for lack of a better term, together. So you get to hear from both of us a lot. And with that, transition to Audrey.
Hello, everybody. I was gonna say good morning, but I guess it's evening for all of you. So, so good evening to all of you. Yeah, it is amazing to see all of your faces. I've only been able to meet a few people for this next cohort, so it's fantastic to see like so many people in the next cohort on one call already. I know we're getting really excited for it over here. But anyways, I am Audrey Miller, like Jorge said. I am going to be transitioning into the programs coordinator next semester, but I have been with Watson for just over a year now. So not super long, but feels like very long and also feels like not very long at the same time. So, but yeah, Watson's been amazing this last year working here. I'm really excited for this next cohort. And like Jorge said, you'll be hearing from me probably quite a bit, especially leading up to the semester. I'll be leading all of that like pre-semester communication. So you'll be getting a lot of emails from me over the next like series of few weeks leading up to the beginning of the semester. So if you keep seeing like this girl, Audrey Miller, popping up in your inbox, I'm apologizing now for that. But yeah, so excited to like really be able to meet all of you guys and get to know all of you over the next like few months. So I'll pass it back over to Miranda. I don't want to take up too much time.
Great. Thank you, Audrey and Jorge, for those introductions. I'd just like to add to that. Jorge has been in the social entrepreneurship space for quite a long time, both as a student and as in his early career. So he's very familiar with the journey you are all about to take. So, and then I'd also like to add that at Watson, we often start the day by saying good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, because we are such a global cohort. Individuals are joining from all over the world in many different time zones, and we like to honor that. So with that, though, we would like to get to know all of you a little bit. So please put in the chat your name and what issue area you have. I know many of you are free agents, but type in what problem you hope to solve in the world, what issue you are most concerned with, or for venture founders, share what your venture name is and what issue you are tackling. While we go ahead and get started with what to expect in the first week. And that is back to Audrey to go over what to expect in the first week at the Watson Semester Accelerator.
Yes. Okay, so the first week is very exciting. I know I sent you all an email, I believe yesterday. So if you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. And attached to it was there was a screenshot of what that first week will kind of look like for you. The first week does not look like the rest of the semester. Since it is orientation week. I'm going to share my screen so I can kind of walk you all through what this will look like. So perfect. So pretty much what this all, or what the first week will look like is we're going to start on Tuesday instead of Monday, just because Monday is a holiday here in the US. So we will be offline, enjoying a 3-day weekend. But then starting on Tuesday will be the first day of orientation for all of you, which is very exciting. It'll be the first time, you know, everyone is all together as a cohort. And really that day is gonna be meant to kind of learn about Watson, learn about like what your typical week is gonna look like, all of that fun stuff. And kind of have some introductions to reintroduce me and Jorge and Miranda, since you all are very familiar with Miranda and will be familiar with Jorge and I by the end of this. But you'll also meet our executive director, the new operations coordinator, all of that. So you'll get exposed to the whole team. And then that's really like what the whole first 2 days are, is just a lot of information in 2 days. So hopefully we won't bore you too much in those 2 days, but it's really just so you guys have a good idea of like what to expect over the semester, like in a lot more detail, like what that mentorship program will look like that Jorge was talking about, what our checkpoints are, what our assignments are, all of that you'll learn all about over these 2 days. And then we'll actually have a big bulk of time on Wednesday on the 19th dedicated specifically to you just asking questions, because like I said, we're going to be giving you a lot of information and I'm sure you will have a bunch of questions afterwards. So we want to make sure you guys all have time to ask those and get your answers. Something I do want to flag is my calendar is in Mountain Time right now too. So I'm sure you guys have, I know Miranda's met with all of you to kind of map out your schedules, but so that way you're not seeing 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., you know, that type of thing and getting confused. So this is all in my time currently, but and then Thursday and Friday is Scholar Experience, which is so much fun. And I think is one of the most like important couple of days in the whole semester, because those 2 days are really just dedicated for you to get to know everybody else in the cohort. We do different activities and we put you into breakout rooms. So you're meeting with different people and constantly sharing new information and stories and about yourself and hearing about everyone else in the cohort. And it's really a time for you to build those relationships, like those foundational relationships with other people in the cohort. So it'll be really cool because, you know, you're going to have a breakout room with 3 of you and it'll be, you know, somebody from China and then someone from Brazil and then somebody from America, like all in the same like small group talking about like trying to figure out what you're like, what you guys all have in common based on like, you know, your life experiences or the things you all enjoy, you know, stuff like that. So it's a really fun couple of days. And every year we always hear about how much scholars enjoy it a lot. So it's a really good couple of days. And then on that next Monday, you're gonna have initiation, which is a secret until initiation. So we're not going to tell you anything about it now. But you will officially be initiated into the Watson community and be officially a Watson scholar after initiation. So I feel like the word initiation sounds a little scary. I promise it's not scary at all. It's fun. And it's a nice like couple of hours. And it's a good way to kind of wrap up after learning so much about Watson and meeting each other and all of that. And then the next day, you guys are going to start classes. So we move fast here at Watson. You have to, and you only have a few weeks. So yeah, we'll move on. So I know it's Jorge next, right, Miranda? Talk about after that, kind of pick up from
Yes,
there.
we'll go ahead and now pass the mic off to Jorge to talk about what to expect in the program and some really important milestones to think about.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Audrey, for setting us up. I'm also going to share my screen and it's very quick. It's just with, hold on, I'm doing it now. It's just a calendar, the same calendar that, can y'all see it? Miranda? Okay, good. So I wanted to just show you what a typical week will look like. And the weeks vary, and we're going to let you know ahead of time if we have a change in, we have a special session or something is different, but this is what you see here is the archetypal like normal week that you would have. And here at Watson, we label all the weeks by their number, and that helps us to keep track. So week number 1, is orientation. Week number 2, 3, and 4. And there are 15 total weeks in the spring 2022 semester. And so whenever you hear us talk about week 10, week 11, week whatever, that is how we in the program place ourselves based on where we are in the trajectory of the program. And so I wanted to show you week 4 because week 4, as you can see here in the top left. So week 4 is when we start our normal archetypal week. After we've done orientation, so many other sessions as well. And so this is kind of what to expect on the average Watson week. And I'm going to run you through that week. And then after I run you through this week, I'm going to share a couple of milestones using the week system. So week 7, week 9, week 15, and what that means and within the grand scheme. All right. So let me just show you the archetypal week. So this is Monday, February 7th. So usually every Monday, unless we state otherwise, we're going to be having 2 sessions. And everything you see here in green, these are sessions that we have synchronously. So we are together live on Zoom from all over the world. And so I am currently in the East Coast of the United States, which is why the times here, for example, it says here 11 a.m. So it's actually 9 a.m. in Colorado because of the 2-hour difference. I'm traveling at the time. All right, so on Mondays at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, you have this very first session. I'm a little zoomed in because I wanted to zoom in a little. All right, there we go. And it's called All Hands on Deck, that we label also AHOD for short. So All Hands on Deck is where we check in with each other. So it's the entire cohort and also the entire Boulder, Colorado Watson Semester Accelerator team. And so it's a big group and we all check in with each other. Our executive director will start us out. And then every person in the group shares a highlight from the last week, what we call a low light as well. And just basically just check in with each other. How are we doing? What do we accomplish? What do we want to share with the group? It's a wonderful, wonderful way to kickstart the week. And so that's what to expect. That's the first session of the week on Monday. And then immediately after that, we have what we call goal pots. And here, the second session on Monday. So goal pots, all of you and the entire cohort combined, you're going to be divided into smaller groups of about 5 Watson scholars each group. We do mix it around so that you're able to be with in this smaller groups with scholars from all over the world, but we do make up these groups based on time zones, and I'll explain in just a second why we do that. And so these goal pots, you will work together as a smaller group for the entire semester. With goal pots on Mondays, you divide up into your goal pots, and then each pod is with a Watson staff member. And so I know I'm being like super vague, but that's what to expect. There's a lot of things to cover here as well. I don't want to eat up all the time. So that's what's to expect on that first day. It's just check-ins. It's not necessarily, we don't have any workshops per se on the Mondays. On a typical Tuesday, so you see here Tuesday, February 8th, that's an example. We will have transformative entrepreneurship. This is our class that's fully focused on your business model, on your venture. And if you are a free agent, you will be working with a fellow classmate, as you know, who's a venture founder on their venture during this class. So that's what to expect, just transformative entrepreneurship. Every Tuesday is you're gonna be working on a class that is focused on your venture. Then on Wednesday, you have transformative action. And this is the simplest way to describe this class. I think it's a leadership course. And in this course, you're going to explore what it means to be a leader and an entrepreneur, but also what that looks like in society and how that manifests itself on the work that you do, on your life, and also on your team around you and your community. And this is, they're all incredible, but this is also like a very internal looking class on what it means to be a leader. And so this is every Wednesday, the same time as Transformative Entrepreneurship. And then the third and last class of the week is called the Watson Lab. And so in the Watson Lab, you're going to be learning a different skill every week that could go from branding, marketing, budgeting, pitching, like presenting, sales, and many other different skills every single week. And so this is a very hands-on class that you also will be, again, like learning a new skill that you'll be applying to your venture or to the work that you're doing that same week as well. And the last typical session will be on Friday. And in this case, for February 11th, we have a master course with Heather Potter. She's a founder of a pharmaceutical company that focuses on vaccine distribution in particular. And so you will have a master course with Heather Potter, and master course with many other entrepreneurs and organizational leaders from the Colorado community, also from our global and national community as well, who will be joining us to share their expertise, to share their story, to share their challenges as well, so that you also will be able to learn from that and accelerate your own journey, your own path. And so this is what a typical week will look like. Checking in on Monday, classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then a master course or a guest session on Friday. One thing to add here on the weeks as well, and this is not on the calendar, but it will be in your calendar, is that we have clinics and skill sprints, and I'll share what that means now. So for Transformative Entrepreneurship here, that the class that is on Tuesdays in here, you will have a clinic. And what that means is that you're gonna have an assignment that applies to what you just learned in class. And you will be working with your pod, that smaller group that I mentioned that you're gonna be a part of. You're gonna be working with your pod on that assignment together. And because we have a global virtual cohort, we don't have a set time, because we're gonna let the pod, that small group, choose when you're going to meet to complete that assignment. So for Transformative Entrepreneurship, you have a clinic and you have 22 hours to complete it. So at any point after class, you can, for example, this class is gonna end a bit late. I believe it's gonna end at, is it like 2 in the morning or so for you? So we also want to talk about like the time as well. So this class will be ending at 2 in the morning every Tuesday. Like every session will be ending at 2 in the morning for you. And so we don't want you to be working on the assignment or anything. So you can rest, and then when you wake up the next day, you can work on the clinic. So we'll go, once we start the program, we're going a deeper dive. I don't want to take too much time talking about that. Just know that there's a clinic that you need to do for Transformative Entrepreneurship, for Transformative Action as well. There's a clinic there that you have 22 hours to complete. And then for the Watson Lab, you have a skill sprint. And that skill sprint, you do individually, you don't do it with your pod. So it's just done individually. And this is, again, like applying the skill that you just learned. And these two clinics and the skill sprint are all meant for you to apply what you just learned in class. All right, so that's the archetypal week and what that looks like. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and I'm gonna share a couple of other notes as well. So I'm gonna be using week numbers to reference all these things, all right? So week number 1 is orientation, what I already talked about in depth. I just showed you week number 4, just as an example of what that would look like. All right, so week number 1 is orientation. Week number 2, so the following week, that is when you're going to meet your mentors. So all of you will be paired with a mentor or 2 mentors that you're going to be working with for the entirety of the semester. And the mentors, whether if you're a venture founder, the mentors will be helping you with your your venture, your organization, with any skills that you want to work on as well. If you are a free agent, the mentor will be focusing on skills or particular career path that you're looking into, or overall advice as well. Mentors are a pillar of the program. And so this is a very important aspect of it. Is an important piece that begins on week number 2. All right, so week number 2, expect mentors. Then on week number 3, so the following week after that, on week number 3 is when, if you are a free agent, is when you're gonna begin working with a venture founder. And so we'll explain more once you start what the process is. But in essence, I'm gonna ask you, hey, free agent, now you've met your classmates for 2 weeks. This is around week number 2, or a week or so. Who would you like to work with? And I'm gonna ask you to give me a list of people in your cohort that you would like to work with, based on your interests and what you want to do. Then I'm gonna ask you to rank them 1, 2, or 3. I'm gonna reach out to the first one and see if they want to work with you. And usually that's the case, and then we'll match you. If they don't, then they go for the second one, and so on. So kind of what to expect in that regard. But by week number 3 is when you begin working together. Okay, so have that expectation as well. All right, so I cover week 1, week 2, and week 3. I'm going to skip ahead to week number 7. All right, so in week number 7, we have our first checkpoint, and we have 3 checkpoints throughout the entire semester. On week number 7, on week number 11, and on week number 15 or 14, at the very end. And week number 7 is your first checkpoint. I'm not going to get into too much details about that. Just know that it's a checkpoint that you have to pass, and you must pass to graduate. If you need to try it again, you can. Like, we're also not harsh. If you need to try it again, we will help you, we'll coach you, and you'll do it again. But just know week number 7, checkpoint that you must pass. And not an exam. It's usually like a presentation, or you need to submit an assignment and so on. But I mentioned week number 7 is because at that point, the free agents can actually choose if they want to change to another team, or if they want to change tracks to be a venture founder as well. That's a deadline for you to change. So free agents, and if we have a couple in here, if you have a venture idea that you want to give a shot, this program is the perfect platform to do so. And so I know this past semester that just concluded, that started in August, we had 2 free agents that in week number 1 changed to be venture founders. And I think it helped them a lot. And they did an excellent job at doing so. So if you do have a business idea, let us know. You can change. You can change in the beginning of the semester. In week 1, you can let us know. That's your last opportunity. But then if by week 7, you have another opportunity to change. In between week 1 and week number 7, you can't change because you'll be working with a fellow scholar. But just know, week number 1, you can change tracks to be venture founder. Week number 7, you can do the same thing. Or on week number 7, you can switch to another team too. Week number 11, another checkpoint, and that has to do with our fundraising module. We have a fundraising module. We'll explain more during the semester. And then the last checkpoint is at the end of the semester as well. And so, yeah, that's kind of a big overview. I do want to give time to questions. I'm looking at the time, so I'm going to shut up. But last thing I'm going to leave you with, and then we'll go into questions, is to be cognizant of time, of the time zones. We are ending late. And so take care of yourselves. We've had many scholars who have had challenges with if they're going to school, another university full-time, or if they are working full-time. It is very extremely challenging to do. This program, I know it's hard to conceptualize sometimes, but this program is a full-time program that takes up a lot of your time. And so yeah, just keep cognizant of that. We want you to take care of yourself as well. So with that, I hand it back over to Miranda.
Thank you so much, Jorge.
Mhm.
And that's a perfect transition. Really, why we are doing this session is to help you all understand the commitment that you are getting yourselves into. There's no shame in saying, actually, this is not for me. Now is not the right time, and this is not for me. And we want you to fully understand what the Watson program is so that you go into this fully aware of the commitment you're making. Also, we want to give you some tips and strategies on how to be successful in this program. Lawless is going to share some tips and strategies and some advice. And we are also joined, as I said, by an alum, Yidi, who I will ask to introduce themselves later, who is going to share some time management and tips on how to be successful in this program as well. So I'm sharing my screen right now. This was a sample schedule most of you have already seen, so that you can see in your time zone a bit of what this program could look like. As Jorge said, these groups right here might come after these programs. These were a bit flexible based on your pods and where you schedule your pods, but you will be paired with individuals from all over the world. So depending on the time zone, these may occur elsewhere. But this is just a sample. So you see it's kind of late your time. So we're going to go ahead and transition now into a conversation with our alumni. We are, like I said, just joined by Yidi. Before we go ahead and start asking some questions, I would love, Yidi, for you to introduce yourself. Where are you joining us from? Also, what venture did you work on during your time in Watson?
Yeah, thank you, Miranda, and hello, everyone. My name is Edie, and currently I'm now in the Bay Area, California, in the United States. I'm the alumni from this year, this spring, so I have the same exactly schedule as you do. And at that time, I was a product manager in Baidu. And then after the Watson, I kind of like make a big change and then decided to quit my job. And then I moved to the United States. Now I'm starting my own venture. So on the one part of time, I'm working as a life coach. And on the other part of time, I'm working for the kind of like social emotional learning programs for the young adults back in China. And thank you, Miranda, for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much, Edie. We're so happy to have you here. I'd like to kick off our conversation with a question to both Edie and Lawless. So what was a highlight of the semester accelerator for both of you?
Well, I can start first. Well, for me, the highlight, actually, there are lots of highlights, as you just mentioned, as you just heard, that there are lots of different settings and the class, those are really amazing. But for me, if I have to choose one highlight, that's hard. But I can say that actually the people I met in this program, because as you can see, you can meet your classmates from all over the world. And actually, you know, I highly recommend that you really take good advantage of this kind of different backgrounds, because, you know, as a Chinese, we grow up in a very similar kind of like education background. We went through the Gaokao, the kind of university entrance exam, and then we are taught to kind of go to a good school, go to a good company, these kind of things. So we grew up in a very similar education background. So sometimes we have very similar kind of like mindset. So, but here in Watson, you have the chance to meet the students from all over the world. Then you will realize that, okay, wow, there is such a way to think of the world. I still remember one of my classmates, he is really passionate about the environment protection. So he told us that his dream is to become the president of his country. I asked him why, because it sounds really ridiculous. I haven't heard about any Chinese people saying, I want to be the president of the China, right? So I just asked him why. And he told me that, okay, because now the leaders in his country didn't protect the environment or didn't take that serious about environment. And he find that, okay, only by becoming the president or leader in his country, he has the kind of power or the ability to really help protect their environment in his country. So you will meet lots of this kind of really crazy, at first to me, this kind of story behind every scholars. So I highly recommend that you really talk to different scholars, and their stories are really amazing, and it's kind of like give me the courage, as the Watson slogan is like protect your courage, and that's how where the courage come from for me, because I met so many young entrepreneurs and I can see their passion, enthusiasm for really changing the society. So that really moved me. Yeah.
Thank you for that, sharing that, Edie. That was Khalid, right?
Kimo.
Oh, Chemo. Oh my gosh, we have multiple presidents joining Watson, future presidents joining Watson.
Yeah.
So, Lalis, I would love for you to share what your highlight of the Watson experience was.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Miranda. And actually, just a quick follow up on what Edie shared. Me and Edie went way back. We actually met in 2005. We were both like little kids, went to same junior high together. And a little bit more than 2 years ago, when I took up this position in Watson, and Edie's like, oh, I'm at this transitioning period of my life. And we had a call and everything, and she totally got converted into this like Watson how to say, like a believer. So yeah, just a little bit joke there. And my experience was I definitely reckon a lot what Edie just shared, but my experience might be a little bit different because I went in person, right? That was before COVID. And my experience was more, I think, it's just immerse myself in that environment. I think you can do that virtually as well. Just fully enjoy every moment that you have with these amazing people. Really cherish, the connection, the conversation, and everything we had. I still remember, like, me and Jorge had those amazing, wonderful conversations when we were, walking up the trails of Chautauqua, and yeah, it's just like fully embrace this experience and get the most out of it. And I definitely think, these people will forever be your best memory. And I'm still in touch with many of the alumni that I met in Watson, and a lot of them, even if we didn't go to go to Watson the same year, right, the same semester, we can click just like this. So it's forever like a family for you, where you can always learn and share and grow together, and always, reach out, always be vulnerable, like Miranda and Jorge, Audrey all shared, just like we're always here for you, to support you, and to, just to see you grow and shine. So yeah, thank you guys, and enjoy yourself here.
Great. Thank you, Lalis. My next question is back to Edie. I really want to know how you manage the time commitment of Watson, as well as your outside responsibilities.
Yeah, well, I think I am the perfect person to answer this question, since when I was at Watson, I still have a full-time job, although it is not encouraged. But the reason why I chose to do that is because I have a faith in myself that I can manage my time well. So actually, before the Watson, I was very struggling because I went to bed. I'm kind of like an early morning bird. So I usually go to bed at maybe 11 p.m. But now I have to stay up in 2 p.m. So that's so crazy to me. So I kind of like really talk about to myself that, okay, what do I really want from this program? Is that really worthwhile to spend 2 hours late to stay up to really be in this class? So I really asking myself that what I really want to get from Watson. And then I realized that, okay, it's really once in a lifetime. And this is a great opportunity that I can really explore the world without quitting your job or without leaving your country, especially now the COVID setting, right? So after maybe 1 to 2 weeks, really think about what I want to get from the Watson. And then I did decide that, okay, Watson is really the thing that I want. So then my next step is just like create a time plan for my Watson semester. So basically here is my plan. So because I have full time from day to night, so, working in Baidu, this kind of tech company, I have to go back home around 9 p.m. or something. So, but fortunately we have 2-hour kind of lunch time in the daytime. So usually I will use the weekend, just one day of the weekend, to finish all the readings of the next week. So you don't have to rush in the daytime. So I will use the weekend to just one day. You don't have to spend 2 days. You can have just one day to finish the readings and then finish some homework if there is some. And then as Jorge just said, we will have some clinics or the skills sprint that you have to finish in the 22 hours. So for that part, you also need some kind of like discussions with your pod members. So we had alignment with my pod members that we will have the discussion in the lunchtime. So usually we will start from 12:30. So the discussion will usually last for 1 hour or 45 minutes. It depends on different topic. So from 12:30 to 1:30, we will have this kind of discussion. And then because after the discussion, you need to write down, capture some notes, and then kind of like as a homework to upload your homework. So then I will use another 30 minutes to really write down those things. So I just use this lunchtime to finish all these kind of homeworks that have to be done in 22 hours. Yeah, and also I think that's how, and also because our class usually start from 12 a.m. Yeah, so in China, most in the winter time. So then when I go back home around 9 p.m., so I will usually kind of like to see if there is any other homework or readings that I haven't done. If not, I may spend 1 hour to really get a quick review of what we are going to talk about in today's class, because we finish the reading in the weekend. It's easy to forget about that. So I will just spend around 1 hour to really quick review those materials and those requirements. And that is about 10 p.m. Then from the 10 p.m. to 12, we have 2 hours. So I usually spend half an hour to take a shower, and then we have 1.5 hours. So it really depends on you. But for me, if I am super tired that day, I will sleep in that 1.5 hour and then just like wake up in 12, because they are saying in China that maybe sleeping at 10 to 12 is really the quality time of your whole night. So I think it's really good. We start from 12 p.m. So we still have 1 or 2 hours that if you like, you can sleep, because although you may have a full-time job, maybe not that busy as I do. So maybe you can finish all those kind of things at night before 9 p.m. Then you go to have a high quality sleep from 10 to 12. Yeah, so that's how I arrange my time.
Wow, that was really detailed, Edie. I really appreciate you giving such concrete advice on how you manage the time zone difference and Watson. I would love to hear from Lawless if you have any concrete tips or tricks around balancing work and life for these particular scholars. I know you've known many scholars throughout the years and have met many scholars that have successfully navigated the program in this virtual setting. And I would love to hear from you if anything stands out.
Yeah, definitely. Even when I was at Watson, I sort of like reinforced this stereotype of Chinese students, like always so hardworking. Because I went to Watson after after work. Like I actually quit my job in China and went to Watson to start a venture, you know, sort of like self-exploration and everything. And at that time I had to work, obviously. So because I was a TOEFL teacher, so I think Jorge didn't know about that actually, first time hearing this. So even when I was at Watson, I had to work to make it work, right? And I was teaching still, like online virtually for my students back in China. So every night I would stay until I would say like probably 11 p.m., 12 p.m., like Boulder time at where was that place? The co-working place we had. Is it like Impact Hub, right? I would be the last one to leave that place, and people were like thinking that I'm crazy. Like they thought like, oh, you work so hard, you must be doing your assignments or like working on your venture. But no, I was bustling myself to make money. And I know a lot of you struggle the same way too, especially if you are already working. This is absolutely fine. You have to, you know, balance your life, right? Like your personal life is also really important, is part of you, right? So I think just embrace it and really, you know, I think take good care of yourself is the top priority. You know, if any moment you feel like this is too much, you're burnt out, and definitely reach out to us. You know, you can talk to me, Jorge, Audrey, Miranda, anyone on the team, and just reach for help. And we will see, you know, if there's anything we can do, or, you know, if you really should take a break, then you can take a break. It's totally fine. And I think it worked out for a lot of the scholars in the past. I would not hesitate to say that this program is not for everyone. And Edie is 100% like a superwoman, you know, thrived all the way throughout the very challenging semester, you know, holding a full-time job, especially in a super demanding environment and all that, and totally like excelled in everything that she did. And she was, you know, piloting her project, you know, writing articles. I didn't even know how I think she has like 48 hours a day. Like she's just luckier than we do. Anyway, so yeah, I think the tip is just like really embrace it and taking good care of yourself. And I would say, you know, time management is a different task for each of us. So just you know, prioritize yourself and do what you're supposed to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lalas. Yes, absolutely. Prioritize your health and your wellness over everything else. That's the most important thing. So we have about 10 minutes left. I would love to open it up to you all to ask our entire team here questions. You can use the raise hand feature and unmute yourself to ask a question of the entire team and Yidi, or you can go ahead and chat in your questions. All right, Echo.
Hello, Miranda. Sorry for being late, but so I've lost a little bit the part the first part of this orientation. So I wonder the mentor part is that optional for us, that we can totally choose the time to discuss with our mentors, because I have a full-time job. So I want to ask that.
Yeah, and I'm happy to take that question. So with your mentor, you coordinate with your mentor when's the best time to meet, and so
okay.
it's what works out for your schedules as well, and it typically works out. So yeah, there's not a set time. It's flexible entirely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Great, thank you for that question, Echo. Who is next? If no one has a question, I actually have a question for both Edie and Lalas. So what advice would you leave the Enlight scholars as they begin this program? We can go ahead and start with Edie and then move to Lawless.
Well, for me, the only advice I want to give is kind of like Watson is really once in a lifetime. So 4 months really goes very quickly, as we just said, that I highly recommend that maybe you take 1 hour this week to really sit down and write down your expectations towards Watson, because it is totally a journey that you design for yourself. So looking back from the previous question about how to balance the work, life, and Watson, to me, I think that I don't regard Watson as going to school, those kind of really serious thing, stressful thing back to our memory, just like I have to go to this class, I have to finish the homework, and the teacher have me to do this, so boring or something. So actually, Watson is the way to really create your own path. So it really depends on what you want to get from Watson. So it's very true that how much you wanted to devote yourself to Watson equals kind of how much you can gain from Watson. So that's really important to kind of like determine which part is the one that I really want to focus on. So for example, for me, I really love the venture part. So I took lots of time in the pitch and in those things. And some homework, if that's not helpful to me, I may spend less time in that homework and spend more time on my venture. So it really depends on you. You don't have to be a so-called good student all the time, but it's really about how to balance your focus. And so I highly recommend that you really take some time to write down what you really want from Watson, and then prioritize your time upon those kind of determination. And another thing is kind of like, because some people wear the glasses, if you wear glasses, that the red glasses, then you will see the world as a red world. But if you wear a blue one, you see the world as a blue one. So I highly recommend to think about what the glass that you wear for the Watson. So because before I kind of like think it's kind of like, okay, it will influence my sleep. If I wear that glass all the time, I will be really worried from 12 to 2 a.m. I will kind of like be very struggled. And then later, as I mentioned, after 1 to 2 weeks, really to think about what I want. So I wear a new glasses. This new glasses is called, okay, Watson is a great time for me to really expose myself into a bigger world. Then if I wear that glass, I am not that struggle with the time conflicts anymore. I will just focus on what I can learn, or I can focus on the people I met in Watson. So that's really important to find your right glass. You don't have to spend lots of time to really be struggle. Yeah, this is your choice.
Thank you so much, Edie. Lawless, what advice would you like to leave our Enlight China scholar?
Yeah, definitely. Like I would say, just to really wrap it up quickly, I would say like just fully enjoy the process of opening the door, because I feel like my life, was just totally changed the moment I went to Watson. I made that decision that I'm going to quit my job and I want to start like a horrific journey, which I have no idea what it is. And just let it unfold naturally in front of me is like kind of like scary, but also exciting at the same time. And I would say, just for me, like really leverage the opportunity of meeting every person that you will be encountering during this journey, like taking advantage of your mentor meetings, taking advantage of your one-on-one with everyone, and all the facilitators and all the team staff and everything. This is such like a treasure box. Like you can just like really learn from every single conversation, from everyone's story, like learn from different cultures and all that. And actually one of my mentors, she introduced me to University for Peace, which I later on, went to after Watson. I went to Costa Rica to pursue my master's degree. And that, again, helped to build me as, who I am today. And really like the very first step that I took at Watson, sort of like just like led to one thing after another and everything. So I would say, like, if metaphorically, I would say you're at the doorknob right now, and just like protect your courage and be brave, be bold to really like open that door and enjoy every step afterwards. So yeah, way to go.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this session today. We are so excited to begin the spring 2022 program. So please feel free to reach out to all of us for questions, concerns. We are all a resource to you now, and we will continue to be a resource to you throughout this program and beyond. So have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll have a wonderful rest of our day. Goodbye for now.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye,
See you soon.
everybody. See ya.
Bye.